Hello, welcome back. Today I'm going to be walking you through all the books I read in June and July because I didn't post a video for the end of June. All the books I read, and I thought, why not combine them? So the first book I read in June was Funny Story by Emily Henry. Now, this was her new release. I absolutely loved it. I've read all of her books now. I adore her writing. I know they're turning a lot of her books into movies or TV shows. I'm really excited, but I'm also a little scared because sometimes they ruin the story when they do stuff like that. So we'll just have to see what that happens. But anyway, Funny Story is about this woman named Daphne, and she's engaged to her fiance named Peter. Now, Peter has a best friend named Petra, and they're best friends since childhood. And so before their wedding, Peter ends up breaking up with Daphne and going and get engaged to Petra, his best friend since childhood. Now, our second main character is Miles. He was dating Petra. And so they end up Daphne ends up living with Miles, and they come up with a little scheme to prove that they're happy, and it's fake dating. It's adorable. I've been told that this gives you New Girl vibes, which I adore that show. I believe I gave this a 5-star. I thought the banter was so cute. I just thought everything was really amazing with this. It was so fun to read. I loved the romance. It was great. I love these side characters. It was really great. And I just love Daphne and Miles. And I have to say, I can relate to Miles because I have dyslexia. And so there's this whole scene where they're talking about reading because Daphne is a children's librarian, and she's talking about how like one of her favorite books from childhood or something like that was like Narnia, and Daphne was like, wait, you never read Narnia? And he's like, no, I said I didn't read it. I said I heard of them. And then she's like, why? And then he's like, I have trouble reading. The poor man has dyslexia. And so I highly felt for him because I too have dyslexia. And so when I was younger, reading was really hard. And still sometimes it's still hard with my dyslexia. And sometimes you speak dyslexic. It's a real thing. Trust me, all the dyslexic people most likely tell you sometimes they flip words around when they say them. But this book, I'm pretty sure I gave it a 5 stars. Would totally recommend. Emily Henry's she knows how to write a good romance plot, but also add depth, because I love romances that have depth and more emotion into them than not. So I totally recommend this. I would love it if they turn it into a movie or a TV show, but again, I would be scared, like I said. So yes, this was the first book I read in June. So now the second book, which was also a new release, Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. Now, I haven't read a book by her. This was the first one I read, and I fell in love. It gives me the same vibe as Emily Henry, but there are differences. So this book is about a girl named Emma, and then this man named Justin, and Emma is a traveling nurse. So every couple weeks or months she goes somewhere else, and she's a nurse in different places, and she moves around with her best friend. So here's the thing. So Emma and Justin, they have this one thing in common. So they hadn't found their one true love. So anytime Emma or Justin would date someone, they break up, and then the person the other person would end up finding their true love, and then they end up getting married. And so they end up communicating online, and then they start dating to see if they could break the curse, like a couple of dates, a kiss, and a breakup to see if they could find their one true love. But you can see what happens to This, I also believe I gave it 5 stars. I want to read the other books too, because technically this is like a series standalone, but like I really wanted to read this one, so I'm definitely going to go back and read the other 2 books. Totally recommend if you haven't read it, and if you haven't, I'm a little shocked. The next book that I read was a book by Christina and Lauren. And the first book I read by them was Love and Other Words, and I absolutely adored that book. I believe I gave that a 5 stars. Their newer release, Problem in Paradise, I absolutely adore this book. I believe I gave this a high 4 stars. It didn't give me 5 stars. I totally enjoyed this book though. It was so... I love the plot of it. The plot was kind of confusing at times, but I really did enjoy it. So it's like a high 4. It didn't give me that 5-star feeling. But essentially this book is about this girl named Anna and this guy named Liam. And they got married, but for... not because they're in love. They got married when they're in college. So she could live in like a space when she was going to college, and so he could get a family inheritance because he had to get married to able to inherit his family's money. So yeah, and then they kind of start fake dating, and they end up like, you know, things happen. And I just really enjoyed this book. It wasn't a 4-star. I mean, it was a 4-star. It just wasn't a 5-star, but I really did enjoy this book. I really do want to read her other books because it's 2 women, Christina and Lauren. But I really do. So I do recommend this. It's really cute. Now, I know I have to talk about Emily Henry at least once more in this video. I reread Beach Read. I read this last year, and this was my second Emily Henry book that I read. I absolutely adore this book so much. This is still a 5-star. This is beyond. But essentially it's about these 2 authors. We have January and Gus, and they end up like swapping deals, like, okay, you write a romance novel and you write like a literary fiction kind of thriller. So that's what it did, and you know, things happen, and it's just really great. I adore Gus so much. I just love all of the men that Emily Henry writes. The only one I can't say is Alex, because I don't remember that that much. That's from the People Who Meet on Vacation. I haven't read that in a while, so I can't remember. But I like almost all the men she's written besides Alex. But again, maybe if I reread it, then maybe it would feel different. But absolutely, if you haven't read this book yet, you totally should. Totally recommend. So now we're kind of switching gears. Now I read this poetry book. Now I love poetry, and I haven't talked about it, but this book is called Swimming Lessons by Lily Reinhart. She's an actress that I really, really like, and I went to Half Price Books with my sister, and I saw this, and I thought I have to get it because I want to read more poetry. And I read this really quickly. I mean, they're poems, so like they're short enough to where you could probably finish. I finished this maybe in 3 days. I love it. Poems have so much depth and meaning to them, and I really do like poetry. And for those who don't know, I dabble in songwriting, so reading poetry, I've been told, can help with that. But I absolutely love this. I wish she released more poetry because I think she's really talented. So now, the other books I'm about to talk about, I don't have physical copies of, so I'll just put them up on the screen. So I read Anna Monaghan's her new release, Summer Romance. It was the first book that I ever read of hers. I loved it so much. Anyway, it is about this girl, I should say woman because she's not 15. This woman, and she has 2 or 3 kids, and she ends up getting a divorce, not because she wants it, because her husband wants out of the marriage. And so it's just about her learning how to like find herself after getting a divorce that she didn't want, and learning to how like she could love again. And there's just so much depth. It is so cute. She has so many good quotes. I want to read more of her books because I really enjoyed it. It was really cute, and it's just, that's like 6-star book and above because I really enjoyed it. And I'm definitely gonna read more of her books. So then the next book I read, because my little sister wanted me to read it, and it's called The Letters to the Lost. It's about Bridget. I don't know how to say her last name, so I won't say it. But it's essentially just about these two kids that are struggling. One lost their mother, one father's in prison, and one has a stepdad who isn't the best. Now, it's just really good. Totally would recommend. It's really good if you want something like a little more deeper and everything. And then I also read The Dead Post Society, which I found out that the movie came first and the book was just like taken from it, and I kind of regret reading the book because it wasn't really worth my time or anything. So I did not buy the book, and I did not like rate it or anything because it was just like whatever. The movie is so good. Totally recommend. It is sad though. Anyway, so those are the books I read through June to July, and soon I'm going to be talking about my August TBR. So we're going to start getting more into like kind of like fall vibes a little bit, even though technically, like I said, fall is going to start into like September, but I live in Texas, so the weather is kind of hectic. So who knows when we're going to start to get those cold weather again to where we can wear sweaters. But I love the aesthetic of cozying up on the couch or on your bed with a comfy blanket, sweater, candle, and a book. It's just, I love the vibe of it. Anyway, thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day, and keep on reading whatever makes you happy, because I like to say we read to escape reality, and we read to feel that we're not alone. As the one and only, there's a quote by C.S. Lewis that says we read to know that we're not alone, and I love that quote so much because I feel like it's totally true. Anyway, again, thank you for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you in my next video.